dangerous severe storms, and a massive weather pattern change are coming. Here's what you need to know for your region. Today's quite a quiet day across much of the United States, and that's because we're going to be seeing a lot of this cooler, more stable air. We've been seeing a lot of this cooler weather across the United States. Look at this right now. The temperature anomalies way below average temperatures across much of the central U.S., except for an exception towards the western U.S., where we do have a lot more warmer above average temperatures right now. But this is going to be continuing for quite a while. These more below average temperatures across the eastern U.S. tomorrow on Sunday, and then this more above average in the western U.S. So basically the pattern over the next week or so is that we're going to be seeing a lot more cooler below average temperatures across much of the United States in the eastern U.S. and then more above average just temperatures centered towards the west coast of the United States. But besides that, most of the United States showed this pattern of below average temperatures consistent and not ending. I mean, we see a few weather pattern flips to warm, but it's mostly just cold. If we look at the GFS ensemble here, we're staying cold for a long time. I mean, look how consistent this cold pattern is on much of the miles in the central and eastern U.S. So if we look at the extended, it just doesn't let up. It's just consistent below average cool temperatures. And this does not mean it's going to be freezing cold in your region at all. Definitely not freezing cold. It's May now. So in May, you typically see more of that switch to summer-like weather. But it's already been feeling like summer in a lot of areas. This will just make it feel more like springtime, 60s and 70s kind of weather for a little while. If you like that, then that's good. And it also will bring down that severe weather aspect just a tiny bit. Now, tomorrow's weather is going to be fairly nice across much of the U.S. We're going to be seeing very nice, fair weather. Nice weather to get outdoors tomorrow on Sunday. More cooler below average temperatures and a lot less rainfall. No rainfall or severe weather really as much across much of the U.S. that we will be seeing tomorrow. Look at this. There's no areas on the flooding map at all tomorrow. That means it's going to be a great day that we will have tomorrow. But the only exception is that we do have a marginal risk of severe storms in effect across the I-70 corridor from Kansas City through Springfield, Illinois through St. Louis, Missouri. Now, this is just a marginal risk, 1 out of 5, and we're not seeing tornadoes. This is going to be very elevated storms. We're going to be seeing mixed layer cape, not surface-based cape. So these won't be surface-based storms. The clouds will be very high up in the atmosphere, so they won't be producing much in the way of tornadoes. But we could see some isolated hail risk in these areas. This is a very low severe weather risk. I think it's more centered towards much of these areas tomorrow. And it's not too high of a risk at all. We could see an isolated severe thunderstorm or two, but really nothing significant besides some nice thunderstorms. But definitely just know you have a plan to be prepared in case some hail impacts your area in this brown area that we do have on Sunday. And then on day 3, this expands a little bit bigger. We see more areas of thunderstorms on day 3 for marginal risk from Kansas City to St. Louis up to Indianapolis into Columbus regions, where we do have a day 3 marginal risk in green. This is a very low severe weather threat, but it is the question that we do see some severe storms is there will be a little bit more instability that we will be working with. I do think this might shift a little bit further north, but besides that, fairly not too severe thunderstorms with this. Not a huge severe weather threat, but we will see some isolated wind and hail threat, maybe even isolated tornado on Monday with this. So have a plan to be prepared both days. But after those 2 isolated severe weather days that we will have, if we do, the main reason that we're not going to be seeing much severe weather on Sunday and Monday is this moisture that's going to be pluming up. It plumes up pretty far north, but it's going to be very minimal moisture across the United States. It will expand a little bit more on Monday, but it'll be very minimal. But once we see this cold front kind of start crashing south, is when we actually are going to be seeing some big time severe weather potential on Tuesday and Wednesday across much of the South. This is going to be, we've been seeing a lot of this Midwest severe weather, but those cooler below average temperatures are going to really aid towards more of this pattern where we're going to be seeing more Dixie Alley severe weather threat. And look, we're going to be seeing a lot of ample moisture and instability across much of the South on Tuesday more towards southern Oklahoma and Arkansas, and then Wednesday this expands a lot more for potentially dangerous severe weather threat that we could. I am watching Wednesday for pretty significant severe weather across Mississippi, Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and Texas areas. More in the south that we will be having, as we do have some very ample, very moist air surging up from the Gulf of Mexico or America. And if we compare this with what I was looking at on the models, the Storm Prediction Center has already issued a day 4 on Tuesday, slight risk of severe storms from Dallas all the way up to Little Rock and Fort Smith areas. If you are in these yellow areas, have a plan to be prepared as some severe storms are possible with a slight risk of severe storms. It's definitely going to be a lot higher of a threat than Sunday and Monday's threat. So if you are in Little Rock and Dallas, especially in these regions, and yellow, have a plan to be prepared. We don't know the exact hazards, if it's going to be tornadoes, hail, damaging winds, and we don't know if it's going to be supercells or line of storms. All we do know is that we will have an increasing severe weather threat on day 4. Then on day 5, on Wednesday, severe threat, I do think this increases even more. This is probably the highest ceiling day that we do have. There will be a lot of ample moisture and instability, and this could even potentially be a tornado threat as we get closer to this. We don't know much right now, but we will get more information as we get closer to this. But if you are in these yellow areas from Waco all the way over to Houston, Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama areas, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Shreveport areas, all in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Texas areas, and have a plan and be prepared. And just know if you do have any plans on Wednesday that you might have to cancel it if you are in any of these yellow areas. We will get more information on the exact areas that have the highest threat for severe storms, but if you are in these regions, just make sure you are well aware on Wednesday. It is still far out, so you have time. Now, the weather pattern was definitely hinting at more drier weather, and it is true. I mean, after this rainfall thing that we're going to be getting from Sunday through Wednesday, it's going to be pretty dry across a lot of the United States. But we will see some beneficial rainfall on starting tomorrow on Sunday, and then really amping up here through Wednesday and Thursday. And we do have a bullseye of rainfall in these areas from Mississippi up to Missouri and Ohio and Kentucky and Tennessee. If you are in those orange and red areas, you could see up to 2 inches of rainfall in some spots over the next week or so. So definitely some more beneficial rainfall in these regions, but the rest of the U.S. not really seeing as much in the way of precipitation. Alright, I hope everybody did enjoy today's video. Not too much weather to talk about. It's been quite calm, but it will amp up. We could see those big time severe weather days on Tuesday and Wednesday is the main thing that we are talking about, and some isolated week brief severe weather on Sunday and Monday. And then more of those below average, more calmer, more springtime-like weather into the start of May. We could see a weather pattern flip in the future, but it's been pretty consistent. Whoa, my camera's moving around. Pretty consistent of more below average temperatures throughout the start of May. Thanks for watching today's video, and